Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, January 19th, 2026, and we're under a blizzard warning. Schools are closed here in anticipation. It was actually just sunny here about 10 minutes ago, but now it's pretty snowy, as you can see. It's really coming down. This is my Media Monday video for the week. I wasn't going to do one, and then, of course, this message popped up in my Facebook feed, which ties in nicely to what I'm going to talk about today, too. And the question was that any chance that media literacy and critical thinking are the two main viral trends of 2026? Wouldn't that be nice? And that's why I'm doing this, why I'm going to make this video today. I just have a few things I want to talk about that connect to that a little bit as well. So, the first thing is I used to naively believe that the internet would bring more truth. I really did think that, what would happen with social media and other things is that we couldn't hide from the truth anymore. The truth would come out no matter what. And of course, I was incredibly wrong. What's happened instead is that now truth, maybe more accurately, belief, has been monetized. Right? We can take anything and we can politicize it, and by politicizing it, then people will turn it into a money-making opportunity. And unfortunately, we know about echo chambers, and people are consciously choosing to make their echo chambers smaller and smaller, by deleting friends or by muting things that they disagree with. And that's it's too bad, really, because we do have an opportunity to actually understand what's happening in our world, but we have to be able to face it, right? So recently I got into the allegory of the cave again, and I'm sure some of you remember this. The whole idea that Plato says we're basically like people staring at we're chained in a cave and we're staring at shadows on the wall, and it seems to me like a lot of people are choosing to, they really resist. And that's part of the story, too. The allegory, as he says, that, one prisoner breaks his chains, goes out and experiences the truth or something like that, comes back and tries to tell the other prisoners, hey, you're chained up and you're looking at shadows. And of course, they think he's crazy. They tell him to go away, leave me alone. I feel a little bit like that at times, that people think I'm crazy, some of the ideas that I put out there. So, but just to give you an example of what I was talking about how everything gets politicized. So I had a friend send me an article this week about the Thames Valley School Board. And I don't know the story exactly. I've seen different versions of it. But basically what happened was that they had to purge a number of books from a library. They had 18,000 books, one of the largest collections in Ontario. And somebody came along and said, hey, we got to get rid of some of these books. This happens a lot, right? We went through this when we merged our two high schools in Owen Sound. We had two libraries come together. A whole bunch of books were purged. But what's happening is that people who present themselves as journalists, which they really aren't, they are opinion, right? They're giving out their opinion, presenting it sometimes as news, are spinning this a little bit and saying that, instead of using the word purge, they're using the word ban. Right, and so the video that was sent to me is a woman who's saying, look at what's happening now. We're trying to get rid of all of these important books. Orwell, of course, comes up because people love to talk about 1984, although I am convinced that a lot of those people have never read it. Shakespeare, all kinds of big names. The reality is that those things aren't being taught much anymore. Even towards the end of my career, there was real pressure on us to stop teaching Shakespeare, to teach more modern stuff. And so rather than it being a conspiracy theory, I would just say it's kind of stupidity, ignorance. School boards, I've had a lot of different interactions with my school board when I was a teacher and after. And school boards do lots of really stupid things. I will say that right up front. They make decisions often based on the way things are going to look, as opposed to the value of them. Perception is a word that comes up a lot, which is too bad. So, but at the same time, that's very different than someone actually actively trying to censor or to ban something. I mean, the irony is that these same people who are complaining about these books were the ones that often, 2 years ago, were condoning censorship. Right? They wanted certain books out of libraries. And now, of course, it's shifted. But the reality is that what's happening is these stories come out. Someone sees an opportunity, right? Oh, I can get my fan base, the people who view me riled up by turning this into a story about banning. And of course, the result is they get more reaction, they get more views, they make more money. And that really is the basic idea of media literacy, is understanding, at least in the way we do things, that it comes down to money. And people are often motivated by that as opposed to trying to find the truth, right? So when you feel like everything is politicized these days, it is. But it's not politicized because everything's political. It's politicized because people can make money, right? So keep that in mind. The last thing I want to talk about is simply I was watching TV last night and a Bell ad came on. And Bell's new slogan is "Connection is everything." Now, those of you who have read things that I've read before, or perhaps watched some of these videos, know that I often, sounds like I'm anti-capitalist. I'm not convinced that I'm anti-capitalist. I do have issues with what capitalism actually tries to do. Like some of the, maybe, I want to call them unintended consequences. I'm not sure they're unintended. I think they are quite intended. But this is a good example of what I mean by that. Because what our marketing does often, I'll use the word propaganda. People, again, don't like to hear that, but really that's what it is. It's propaganda. It's $1 trillion propaganda machine to try to get us to look at things a certain way, is that they actually take things that are really important, qualities that we are all looking for, right? Love, autonomy, in this case, connection, community, and they turn it into something that can be consumed, right? Or something that can be bought. So in this case, connection is everything. Like, I get it. Bell is basically that what they're suggesting is that we're in the business of connecting you, whether it's through a landline and old school or cell phones. We're all about connection. Yes, that is true. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to take that idea of real human connection, right? We know more and more it comes up that what people are missing in their lives are deep and meaningful relationships. So they're taking that idea of connection and they're twisting it a little bit to make it feel like, oh, yes, the connection that I'm after is I can get through Bell. By paying Bell more money, I can get that connection. But that's not the real connection that we're after, right? So it takes this idea that is meaningful and it basically turns it into a transaction. And this is very common, right? The whole idea of love, think about love. How many jewelry companies use the idea of love and turn it into, oh, again, if you love someone, you buy them a diamond, right? That's not what real love is. We know that. But the more we see it and the more it's repeated, again, that's how propaganda works, the more we start to believe that perhaps that's true. Or maybe worse, we forget that what real connection is. Anyway, that's all I want to say today. Trying to keep these brief, not ramble on too much. I hope everyone survives the blizzard if you are in an area that's getting hit by a blizzard. And let's hope that yes, that this is the year that media literacy and critical thinking become viral. Peace.